Come on, man. The system's always rigged. A radicalized mind can't live in reality. We're all watching political theater. We don't have leaders anymore. See, there it is again. There's the indoctrination. All right, everybody.
Several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil.
Isn't that the truth? I keep telling you guys it's a charade these days. We're all watching political theater. We don't have leaders anymore. We have managers at best. I mean, look at the choices we have when we vote for, say, the presidency here. Or red team versus blue team. They both suck. Mainstream media will never tell you they both suck. Mainstream media will tell you one side's the enemy, one side wants to take away your rights, and that will depend on who you watch. You watch Fox News, blue team's evil. If you watch MSNBC, red team's evil. Yeah, the uniparty. That's all you have to say. The uniparty, which is corporations who bought our politicians, who make legislation in their benefit against ours. That's what it is.
Civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception.
Basically, what he's saying is a radicalized mind can't live in reality. They've created their own parallel. Example, what is a woman? If I put on lipstick and a dress and I say I'm a woman, to some people, that's good enough. Now I'm as good as a woman. Everything a woman experiences, life, what it means to be feminine, what it means to be the fairer sex, etc., what it's like to be the weaker sex, physically speaking, I now inherit all those. Yet I'm a 6'2", 205-pound man. I don't get nervous walking alleyways at night and there's a man coming across, or jogging at night on the street. You know, there's just certain things that I can do as a man that a woman can't and shouldn't, just for the risk. But you know, lipstick and a dress, and now I'm one of the girls, baby.
And the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept,
Mm-hmm.
these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes, simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously
Damn.
they will revolt. They will
Equality and social justice. Literally naming them, eh? Okay. That's dominating the mainstream today. Social justice, social equity.
they will be very unhappy, frustrated people, and the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents. Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it.
And I bet you they're salivating over what? Social media? Over the power social media has on the West right now. That's like the Hypnotoad, man, from, what was that show? Futurama. There we go. Your cell phone now is the Hypnotoad. Everybody has one. You can't peel your eyes away from it. Yeah, it's incredible. They can influence you with all these bot accounts posting all the craziest shorts. It's not even long form videos like this anymore, man. The short form videos have absolutely taken over content creation by storm. If you're a content creator and you don't engage in this mindless, this numbing ass short form content, you're going to get left behind, unfortunately. So it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, the Omicron Hypnotoad. I have to get TikTok brained people through shorts, and I can somehow funnel them into long form, and then hopefully that gets their attention onto the Spartan challenge. It's like I'm constantly distilling down. That's why I do some of the brain dead content that I do. It's just to trap a wide net of people in and funnel them into self-improvement.
Is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically, America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption, whether you eat junk food.
Someone said banks are failing and you're talking about woke ideology. Banks are not failing. The government's going to bail them out. We have privatized gains and socialized losses. You think Team Blue was going to let that SVB bank fail when it was basically a bank? Come on, man. The system's always rigged. What are you talking about? What is there to even talk about? Oh my God, there's jitters. Credit Suisse is about to fail. Oh, the Swiss National Bank came in and said they would loan them all the money they need. Look at that. Printer goes brr.
Food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C.
Boy, oh boy, does that not sound like today? Word for word, what we're going through. There was Big Brother again rescuing the banks. But when shit happens in East Palestine and people getting sick, we got no money for those people. We deny those people any federal funding to help them. Isn't that wild? But we got billions of dollars for a bank. Of course we do. We got to tame the markets, guys. There's jitters in the markets. Watch out. If we don't do this, it's a domino effect. We can't let people freak out that fractional reserve banking is a massive piece of shit and most of your money is not there. Our banks can't handle any stress test. Don't worry though, don't tell them that. No, it's okay, citizen. We're indicting Trump on Tuesday. That's what we're talking about right now. That's all you're going to see on the news. Trump is going to get arrested on Tuesday. Not that your banking system is shit. Not that we send overseas billions of dollars. Not that we don't even send that money for our own people on the streets. Have you seen what was happening in France, guys? With Macron and raising the retirement age by, I think, 2 years. Yeah, you won't see that shit. Nope. They're not going to mention Paris is filled with trash bags on fire and people protesting everywhere. You got to get your news from Twitter now. Christ.
With benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins. Never mind. He will create false illusions that the situation is under control. Situation is not under control. Situation is disgustingly out of control. Most of the American politicians, media, and educational system trains another generation of people who think they are living at a peacetime. False. The United States is in the state of war, undeclared total war against the basic principles and the foundations of this system. And the initiator of this war is not Comrade Andropov, of course.
Yeah, that's a good point. Don't worry about all the shit falling apart around you. Look up. There's a balloon floating in the air. Oh, look, an F-35 shot it down. Yeah, America.
It's the system. However ridiculous it may sound,
shit.
The world communist system or the world communist conspiracy, whether I scare some people or not, I don't give a hoot. If you are not scared by now, nothing can scare you. But you don't have to be paranoid about it. What actually happens now, that unlike myself, you have literally several years to live on unless the United States wake up. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect to, unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins. This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
Well, the immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism.
No, dude. And if you see schooling today, we don't pledge allegiance to the flag. Patriotism is dead. Loving America is wrong. The system is broken. We need to destroy it and start over. Everybody is some sort of marginalized group except white people. Literally everything we talk about today is degrading America's strength in the world. The people that are graduating colleges today are graduating with the mindset that the system is full of cancer that needs to be excised, and yet they don't have an answer for it. We have stupid conversations around what's in between your legs and why you deserve that job more than somebody else. Not merit-based, but simply just the color of your skin or what's in between your legs or what group you identify with and so on and so forth. Patriotism, forget it. You might as well be a white supremacist if you talk like that.
Number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger of that development, nothing ever can help United States.
Yeah, and this is where failing to grasp that. You hear what he said? We're not failing to grasp that. We're fully embracing that right now. That's what, go to college today and see the woke kids and what they're talking about.
You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate. All this freedom will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives. The second thing, the moment at least part of the United States population is convinced that the danger.
So now we have, that's okay. San Francisco woke DAs. I have to go to conservative Reddit for this. I saw some article, conservative. I read both the liberal side and the conservative side because you get two sides of the coin. Okay, where is it? Okay, so he's talking about freedom for prisoners and the woke, basically the woke DAs we have in blue cities, right? So it says here, CNN reporter reveals her crew was robbed in San Francisco while covering city's rampant crime. Ridiculous. So that's, of course, Fox News posting that. Mainstream media on the left probably won't show it. But the first comment here is what got my attention. It says, this is almost as ridiculous as the woman in California who was anti-cop to the point she praised other businesses for just accepting their windows being broken during riots. She ended up getting killed when someone tried to steal her purse and she got dragged. Her family said they didn't want the criminal prosecuted for their crimes and want to seek an alternative way to hold a person accountable. One way, if I remembered, was some sort of counseling and rehab. And everybody obviously is saying there's no way this happened. And I think it's this article here. Family of Oakland Baker seeks restorative justice for her death following... restorative justice, guys, is what it's called.
Like, there's absolutely an opportunity for us to stand in her values and support the world that she wants.
Hours after her tragic death was announced, friends and family of Jen Angel released a plea that if the people responsible for her death were caught, they are not to be locked up, but to be offered restorative justice.
Now, certainly it's a request we don't hear often from the loved ones of crime victims. ABC 7 News reporter Ansar Hassan spoke to Jen Angel's friends and has more.
The long lines outside of Angel Cake's Bakery in Oakland owe to the popularity of the products and the creator, Jen Angel.
She has this lemon cupcake that has like a lemon curd in it with
She got murdered, and you don't want to see the perpetrator in jail. No punishment.
the raspberry on top. It's like by far my favorite.
Emily Harris spent the week at the ICU with her friend Jen Angel. Angel died on Thursday from injuries she suffered following a car break-in near Wells Fargo Bank in downtown Oakland on Monday. She was dragged 50 feet by a getaway car after she tried to chase down the thieves.
We're really trying to orient towards her brilliant life and actually that she's not a person that would support the policing and imprisonment of the people who harmed her.
Family and friends say that Angel saw many instances of violence and theft as related to larger systemic issues around.
See, there it is again. There's the indoctrination, systemic issues.
Poverty and racism. In her passing, they're focusing on restorative justice.
Systemic issues is why her ass was dragged 50 feet by a car, right?
Something they say was central to Angel's teachings.
Feels like there's absolutely an opportunity for us to stand in her values and support the world that she wants by actually showing that something different than traditional policing and prosecution is possible and is how we can have accountability.
It won't stop you, but it will make you pause and to think about your own mortality.
Nina Joyner is a small business owner, a new Angel from the Small Business Collective. She says she's troubled by yet another violent death in Oakland, but was encouraged by Angel's commitment to Oakland.
And a lot of us are doing activist work as we're.
There you go. That's all we got to hear. Activist work. You're running a business and you want to be an activist and your friend got killed. Oh, okay.
Danger is real. They have to force their government. And I'm not talking about sending letters, signing petitions, and all this beautiful, noble activity. I'm talking about forcing United States government to stop aiding communism. Because there is no other problem more burning and urgent than to stop the Soviet military-industrial complex from destroying whatever is left of the free world. And it is very easy to do. No credits, no technology, no money, no political or diplomatic recognition, and of course no such idiocy as grain deals to USSR. The Soviet people, 270 millions of Soviets, will be eternally thankful to you if you stop aiding a bunch of murderers who sit now in Kremlin and whom President Reagan respectfully calls government. They do not govern anything, least of all such complexity as the Soviet economy. So basic, two very simple, maybe too simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless, they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at a time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. You don't have much time, especially if you are talking about young generation. There's not much time left for convulsions to the beautiful disco music. Very soon it will go, just overnight. If we are talking about capitalists or wealthy businessmen, I think they are selling the rope on which they will hang very soon. If they don't stop, if they cannot curb their
Profits over people, baby. Why would they care about the plebs that they're making money off of? They'll just move into the hills behind huge gates, away from everybody else, aka kicking the can down the road. Shit don't stink if you don't got to look at it, right?
their unsettled desire for profit. And if they keep on trading with the monster of the Soviet communism, they are going to hang very soon. And they will pray to be killed, but unfortunately they will be sent to Alaska probably to manage industry of slaves. It's simplistic. I know it sounds unpleasant. I know Americans don't like to listen to things which are unpleasant. But I have defected not to tell you the stories about such idiocy as microfilm, James Bond type espionage. This is garbage. You don't need any espionage anymore. I have come to talk about survival. It's a question of survival of this system. You may ask me, what is it in for me? Survival, obviously, because unlike, as I said, I am now in your boat. If we sing together, we'll sing beautifully together. There is no other place on this planet to defect to.
The last democracy has turned into fascism. I like this Orwell quote. The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. And when a child is afraid of the dark, we shame them. True shame is when an adult is afraid of the light. Ooh.